Hey everybody, what's up? It's Jared here with One Up Creative. So every year I do a room tour, except last year I kind of did a different type of video where I just showed how my office was organized, which was essentially a room tour because I did go around all different parts of the room. Not much has changed this year, so instead of doing like a super full cinematic room tour, I decided to do it a little more vlog style like I used to, just so I can kind of talk over everything with you guys and really kind of get in depth with what's going on in my room. So let's get started. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and open the door to my room here. And once we close the door, the first thing we see is actually on the back of the door. So this is just one of those shoe organizers. You can get them at basically any store. You're supposed to put your shoes in there. This was featured in my organization video where I showed my office. Basically, these things are great for just putting little knickknacks in and little pieces to different stuff. So in this top row is basically all GoPro related stuff. And then in the second row, we've got different cables. And then in the third row, we've got some just miscellaneous camera accessories. And then just a little bit of other stuff down towards the bottom. Right next to that, we have this little stand. This came out of the living room. We didn't really have another use for it. We were going to throw it out, but I figured just got this right here, basically out of the living room. I used to have this light there, that's over there, and I decided to put this here when I moved the light, and it actually holds the remote. So this remote is just used to turn the light on and off. It has a couple other controls to turn other lights in the room on and off, but that's what it is used for. Down there, we just got the trash can. We got an old printer. Next to that, we have the desk, which I'll get to later. We're going to actually go around this side, in this direction first. So up against the wall here, we have this Ottoman. Inside the Ottoman is just storage. I featured that in my organization video. Right now, I'm basically keeping camera bags and other non-camera bags, mostly bags and accessories inside of the Ottoman. On top of the Ottoman, we have my two main camera bags that I keep stuff in. So the one on the left is my photography bag. The one on the right is my video bag. So that way I'm ready to go at a moment's notice to shoot. Those behind that's a TV. That's a long story. I won't get into that in this video, but on the side there we've got the case to my crane. And then we have just a photo tripod. Those things usually stay in my car, but today I brought them out to use for shooting a video. So then we move over to the closet. A lot of the stuff in the closet has mostly stayed the same as when I featured it in my video, but if you guys want to watch that, go watch it in the button in the top left, top right corner. But basically, this Stanley box right here is just simply used to it's used to store cables and computer supplies. Behind that, there's two more bins that I use to store cables in. On this side, it's basically just miscellaneous items. And then inside the toolbox is, of course, things used to fix things. Got some of my wife's stuffed animals up on the top there. And then in here, we've just got a couple of little miscellaneous things. Nothing too crazy there. Down here, we have a little space heater behind the fan because this room gets terribly hot. There's zero temperature control in this room because the air conditioning system in here sucks. So we've got my video tripod, which lives in the corner there. We've got a paper shredder, which lives in the corner. And then this is basically my filming setup for most YouTube videos. I'm going to go ahead and turn this light off so you guys can see what's going on here. So basically how this setup works is all based off of two things. We have this IKEA shelf and we have this other IKEA shelf up top. So what we've got going here is this IKEA shelf is about 60 bucks, and I'm able to store a lot of like stuff on display in there. So in this one we have just some cars and a Bop It. In this one we've got some camera stuff and a little book. In this one we've got a gun, two guns, and some old phones. And that one's where I store drinks. And then we've got these white cubes that go inside of here where I store miscellaneous items. And then up top on this shelf we've got all these cameras. It's basically my little camera collection. I got a lot of film cameras up here. This is an old Nikon D100, so a couple digital cameras. I got some old lenses up here and back there, but yeah, that's what's up there. So then, basically the YouTube setup, I do a lot of unboxings, or at least I have found myself doing more unboxings recently. So I invested in kind of using some old cameras that I had. I wouldn't say invested. The whole goal was to not spend a lot of money on this, but basically to get this set up to where I could film videos quickly and efficiently. So what I have done here, I have a video on this if you want to watch it too, but basically I took some old parts from a shoulder rig and attached two of my old cameras to it, and then I have this light over here with a little clamp light attached to the corner of this shelf, and then I just have a little piece of diffusion over it. I don't know where this came from. I think from my big monolight that's down there in the corner. Basically, that's what I use for filming the main stuff. And then on the table itself, we have this right here, which is a lamp with a little multicolor LED light bulb that I can change the color of. We do have a couple little things over here. Over here, we do have a little battery charging station. This is kind of where I keep most of the batteries charged during the day. And then here we have my camera rig. This is my cinema rig, which I also have a video on. And this is my Panasonic G7. So the cinema rig has a Sony a6300, a Sigma 30mm 1.4 lens. It's got the Tascam DR40 audio recorder on it and the Viltrox DC50 monitor. So it's a really light setup. It's not like super crazy or anything, but it gets the job done pretty well. Moving on past that, we've just got another fan in here pointing at my wife's section of the office. We've got my bike tires because my bike hangs on the wall, as you saw in the beginning of the video. The tires are not on it. We got my gun case in the corner. We have a filing cabinet there, along with some of my wife's prints on top. This is my wife's section of the desk. Not going to get too in depth on that, but basically the computer uses a quad-core i5 with a Radeon RX 370, R9 370. Then we've got dual 19-inch monitors here. One's on an arm and one is on this monitor riser. Okay, moving on to my desk. This is the main part of my office, so this is probably where I'll spend the most time explaining things. Down here we've got a shelf, which I also featured in my video about organizing my office. Not much has changed inside of that shelf since I made that video, so I'm just going to leave that be underneath the shelf. You guys can't see it, but if I lower this down, you can see I keep some cameras under there on top of the shelf. And then we have this little section right here, which I just keep these two little shapes and then some miscellaneous items. I try to keep the desk fairly clean, so this is all that's really on the desk right now. I use this tripod head basically for vlogging. Then we have a candle, my little bob mushroom, and then a coaster and a pencil cup. Okay, so this is what the setup looks like kind of as you're sitting in it. So from right here, you can see there is a gigantic poster on the wall. It says, "What movie? Whose line?" Right next to that, we have the light. And then looking down actually at the desk, we are going to look at the keyboard first. So the keyboard is the Logitech G710. Really like this keyboard. I got a good deal on it for Black Friday a couple years ago. So I've been using it ever since, and I do enjoy it. We've got the Razer Naga Epic, the 2012 version, so it's an older version, but still running strong, so I've still been using it. I'm probably going to use it until it dies because it's just really good mouse, and I've gotten really used to having it around. So my monitors are these really old and crappy ViewSonic 21.5-inch monitors. I don't really like them anymore. I loved them when I first got them because they were a great deal. I was looking for IPS monitors when I was shopping for them originally years ago, which IPS at that time was very expensive. IPS now is much, much more affordable, and there are much better options out there for what I paid, which was about $50 a piece for these. So if I was shopping for these again, I could get a much better deal and find something a lot nicer. Mainly, I wanted something that has VESA mounts so that I could put a triple monitor arm, but these monitors do not have VESA mounts, so I can't put them on arms, which is kind of the big bummer. But beyond that, I do have behind there, you can see a Logitech 5.1 surround sound speaker system. Got that for free. I've had it for years. A friend gave it to me, and I've been using that ever since. On this monitor, I do keep my Light Dial LD4000. Have a video on that. It's been a great little action camera that we've been using for quite some time. Moving on to the computer. So my main computer has actually changed a little bit this year. It is now sitting in the NZXT H440 case. The reason why this happened was, as you can see, this computer right here used to be my server computer, and it was sitting in a much smaller case. I was shopping for cases that had a lot of hard drives on them, a lot of hard drive bays, because the server was getting upgraded and it needed more hard drives and stuff. So I was looking for a case that could have a lot of hard drive bays, and the H440 can actually hold 11. So I ordered it to use as the server case, and when I got it, I kind of made the decision that it would actually make more sense to use the H440 as my main computer case for a variety of reasons. So the H440 became my main computer case, and then my server is now sitting in here. Each one I think the H440 case, my main rig, has 9 drives in it, and this one has 7. The computer, I can leave the specs down below, but basically it's got a 4930K GTX 780, 32 gigs of RAM, running dual SSDs and RAID 0. To give you the quick rundown, and this one is pretty basically running a quad-core AMD processor. It's an older one. I think it's a X4 645. I think it's an X4 645, which is a pretty good processor, but it's not, amazing by any standards today. With a whole bunch of hard drives. Basically, all that's in it is nothing like mind-blowing. It's only to serve files and back stuff up. On top of the drive here, or on top of the computer here, we've got, this is a WD Easy Stores, a 4 terabyte drive right here that I'm just using to hold some footage because I actually don't have enough space on the drives inside of here, so I have to even expand beyond the computer. Here we have a wireless keyboard and mouse. I can actually remote into this computer from my main rig, so I don't have to use that very often, but I keep it there just in case I need it, and it has come in handy more than one time. On top of here, we have a hard drive caddy that I can plug hard drives into, as well as 2 external hard drives. One is a 1 terabyte and one is a 3 terabyte that I've both had for a very long time. And last but not least, the cutest little addition is, if you look on the light, you can actually see my webcam is up there. So that's where I keep my webcam. So that's it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like this video, please let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. If you guys want to see more stuff like this one, don't forget to subscribe because we're doing new stuff all the time. Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you soon.